You can't contribute to the household expenses, perhaps it's time you found your own place to live. Time to stand on your own. But what about Tommy? I couldn't help asking. Will he have to pay rent when he turns 18? That's different, Dad snapped. Their brother has special needs. Special needs? Tommy was perfectly healthy now. Hadn't had any health issues since he was a toddler. But I knew arguing was pointless. I spent the next 2 days packing my life into boxes and bags. It wasn't much. Years of being the less favored child meant I didn't have many possessions. Each item I packed felt like a reminder of all the things I had never had, all the love I had never received. As I carried my last box out the front door, I heard Tommy's voice behind me. Finally, he crowed. I'm going to turn your room into the ultimate gaming setup. Maybe I'll put the big TV where your bed was, and the gaming chairs can go by the window. With nowhere else to go, I found myself standing on Aunt Sarah's doorstep that night, trying to hold back tears as I rang the doorbell. Uncle Mark opened the door, took one look at my face and the bags at my feet, and immediately called for Aunt Sarah. They did what? Aunt Sarah's voice rose in fury as I explained what had happened. They kicked you out, their own daughter. Because I couldn't pay their rent, I said, my voice breaking. They said since I'm 18 now. I don't care if you're 18 or 80, Uncle Mark interrupted, his face red with anger. They're staying with us. No arguments. That night, as I lay in their guest room, my room now, I finally let myself cry, not just from sadness or fear but from relief. For the first time in my life, I felt truly at home. I spent that summer working full-time at the Sunshine Cafe, saving every penny I could for college expenses. Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark refused to let me pay rent or buy groceries, insisting I focus on preparing for school. When fall came, I started my classes at State University. It was hard work, balancing studies with my part-time job at the cafe, but I was determined to succeed. Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark treated me exactly like they treated Emma, helping me with assignments, celebrating my achievements, even insisting I join them on their family vacation to the beach. It was strange being treated as an equal member of the family. Every time they included me in family photos, every time they introduced me as Riley to their friends, every time they hung my achievements on the wall next to Emma's, it healed a little piece of my heart. My parents and Tommy, they became strangers. Whenever we passed each other on the street, they would look right through me, as if I were invisible. It hurt at first, but gradually, I realized it hurt less than when they had been in my life. Like Tommy couldn't leave well enough alone. One afternoon during my shift at the cafe, he walked in with a group of his friends. I knew immediately from his smirk that this wasn't a coincidence. Well, he drawled loudly as I approached their table. Look who it is, guys. My sister, the waitress still serving coffee after college. Really living the dream, huh? His friend snickered. I kept my face neutral, pulled out my order pad. Welcome to Sunshine Cafe. What can I get for you? Oh, I don't know. Tommy made a show of studying the menu. What would you recommend? I mean, you're the expert on cheap food, right? More laughter from his friends. Tommy spent the next 20 minutes ordering and then sending back everything I brought, complaining that the coffee was too hot then too cold, that his sandwich had too much mayo, then not enough. Maybe if you'd studied something useful instead of just running away from home, he said loudly as I cleared the table. He wouldn't be stuck in this dead-end job. I wanted to tell him that I wasn't stuck anywhere, that I was working here by choice while I pursued my real career goals, but I just kept clearing the table, remembering what Aunt Sarah always said. Some people are so small inside that they can only feel big by making others feel small. After graduating college, I landed an entry-level position at Anderson & Mills Consulting. The salary wasn't amazing, but it was steady, and more importantly, it was a foot in the door. I threw myself into the work with the same determination that had gotten me through school. After my second paycheck, I found a small one-bedroom apartment across town. When I told Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark I was moving out, they both got teary-eyed. Are you sure you don't want to stay longer? Aunt Sarah asked, helping me pack. You know you're always welcome here. I hugged her tight. I know, but it's time for me to stand on my own feet. Besides, I'll visit so often you'll get sick of me. And I kept that promise. Every Sunday dinner, every holiday, random weeknight visits. I made sure they knew they were still my family. Emma would come crash at my apartment for sister sleepovers, when she needed a break from college life, and I'd help her with her assignments, just like Uncle Mark had once helped me. Years passed, and I worked my way up the corporate ladder. Late nights, weekend projects, additional certifications. I did whatever it took. My dedication paid off. By the time I was 28, I'd been promoted to senior operations director, managing a team of 30 people and earning more money than I'd ever dreamed possible. I'm thinking of buying a house, I announced one Sunday over dinner at Aunt Sarah and Uncle Mark's. Something with a nice yard, maybe even a pool. That's wonderful, Aunt Sarah beamed. Oh, that reminds me, she continued. I ran to your mother at the grocery store last week. I tried to tell her how well you're doing. I thought maybe after all these years. She shook her head. She cut me off before I could finish. Said she doesn't have a daughter and doesn't care what you're doing. The words hung in the air like poison. Uncle Mark reached over and squeezed my hand. But I wasn't sad. In fact, for the first time in years, I felt absolutely clear about what I needed to do. The next day, I called my friend Jennifer who worked as a realtor. Hey Jen, I need a favor. Can you find out who owns the house at 1247 Maple Street? Jennifer called back with the owner's contact information. Mr. Peterson had owned the property for over 20 years, the entire time my family had been renting it. My hand shook slightly as I dialed his number. Mr. Peterson, my name is Riley Anderson. I'm interested in buying your property on Maple Street. I'm prepared to offer 20% above market value, cash deal, quick closing. 2 weeks later, I sat in a lawyer's office signing the final paperwork. As I wrote my name on the last page, I couldn't help but smile. The house where I'd experienced so much pain was now mine. My parents and Tommy were still living there, completely unaware that their landlord had changed. I called Jennifer again the next day. "One more thing," I said. "Could you contact my parents as their real estate agent? Tell them the house has a new owner who wants to inspect the property and discuss their lease. Just don't mention my name." "Oh, I'm going to enjoy this," Jennifer laughed. "When do you want to do it?" They set the date for the following Tuesday. I spent the morning reviewing the property documents, making sure everything was in perfect order. As I drove to my old house, my heart was pounding, but not from fear. From anticipation. The house looked exactly the same as when I had left it 6 years ago. I rang the doorbell. Mom opened the door, and for a moment, we just stared at each other. Her face went from confusion to shock to anger in the span of seconds. "Riley, what are you doing here?" she demanded. Dad appeared behind her, and I could hear Tommy's heavy footsteps coming down the stairs.